Week 6 in the CFL had some phenomenal storylines. We saw the Bombers pull out a win against Toronto that few expected, all while Drew Brown made the Ottawa Redblacks management look like absolute fools. Michael Alway has been fined yet again for his hit on Vernon Adams Jr. Hamilton cemented the fact that they are in deep, deep trouble, and Ottawa locked themselves in at 0-5. And James Butler is having a baby. Congrats, JB. Going into week 7, I'm currently sitting at 16-6 with my picks, and I'm pretty proud of myself. Week 7 is full of treats with a second Philpott Bowl, the Lions looking to solidify their status as a serviceable team, potentially one of the best homecoming quarterback moments, and the possibility of an 0-6 team. First up, the BC Lions return to action after locking in their first win of the season, a bye week, and a new special teams coordinator. That first win also happened to be against the very team they line up against this week, the Edmonton Elks, who followed up their loss to the Lions with a dominant win over the floundering Ottawa Redblacks. The biggest key to BC's win against the Elks 2 weeks ago was their ability to shut down Justin Rankin, holding him to only 19 yards rushing. The only time this season that man has been held to under 100 yards. However, although the Lions held him to 19 yards rushing, they still allowed Rankin to stack up 100 passing yards, going 10 for 13, averaging 10 yards per play. Is that a defensive win or just great offensive adjustments? With the Elks only handing the ball off to Rankin 7 times in their last matchup, their changeup and gameplay does give me reason for concern. Although an incredibly talented offensive coordinator, Jordan Maksimic does have a habit of switching up the game plan when it maybe isn't necessary. The Lions may currently be the best run defense in the CFL statistically, holding teams to just under 60 yards per game, but how much of their recent success against the Elks was the defense showing up, and how much was based on the decisions made by the Elks OC? This is the biggest test of the BC defense this year, and what will start to paint the picture for the remainder of the season. Can their defense reproduce this performance, or will they crumble? As for the Elks offense, I'll be watching the involvement and performance of Austin Mack, a receiver who had a slower than expected start to the season with low yardage and a large helping of missed catches and bobbles. That being said, his biggest game this year was against the Lions, raking in nearly 160 yards and a touchdown. The stat that can't be ignored is the fact the Lions won 11 of the last 12 matchups between these two teams, and Nathan Rourke has never lost a game against them. Overall, the last matchup was very impactful and created a lot of change and shifts for both of these teams. Last week, we saw the Elks return to their previous form against the Redblacks while the BC Lions spent their time on vacation. If this was in BC Place, I would maybe lean towards the Lions. But it's a Commonwealth, and I just haven't seen enough consistency from this Lions team to think that they will lock in this win. Elks for the win. The Philpott Bowl takes 2 after a hard-hitting and high-scoring affair in Montreal last weekend. The Stamps will also have some special football energy in the city with the U16 Female Football Western Showcase happening this week. Calgary had a chance to win this last one, but it came just a little too late. But I will never get sick of watching VA drive the field in the final moments of the game. I don't have the stats on it, but I do feel he has the most final minute drives, win or lose, of current CFL quarterbacks. Although not a great position for a team to be in on a regular basis, it's great reps under pressure for a quarterback. Although Montreal had success scoring against the Calgary defense last week, I expect them to make some aggressive adjustments to stop that from happening a second time. Back-to-back matchups against the same team can be a little bit of a trap when you came out successful in the first match. I don't think Montreal will be complacent by any means, but I do think it's easier to adjust a defense in a week than your offense. I expect Calgary to split this series. Go Stamps. Next up, we have Toronto visiting Hamilton, where they will actually be the home team. I told y'all Toronto would lose last week, and that is exactly what they did. The volatility of Chad Kelly is in full swing as they head south to Hamilton to take on a team who is in trouble. The quarterback drop-off in Hamilton is real, and it's a problem. But you know what isn't a problem right now? Hamilton's defense. With their experience and presence, I think they have the ability to keep the Ticats in games week after week. There's just something about them that gives me this inkling of hope for this organization. Hamilton has re-signed previous Ticats quarterback Frost, who turns out to be Harrison Frost, not Jack Frost, like I've had on my mind all week. However, this does not give me much more confidence in the Ticats offense as he has limited CFL experience, and in my opinion, it's just a little bit more of what Hamilton already has in the room. As for Toronto, I think Chad Kelly is in a delicate spot right now. He's coming off a loss that was fairly unexpected. He's sitting at the top of the CFL for interceptions, refusing to answer media questions, and by body language on the field alone, you can start to see him unraveling. This has always been one of my knocks on him as a quarterback. Great athlete, phenomenal football mind, horrendous emotional regulation. Another concern for Toronto is that they will be attacking this game without Janarian Grant. And with how much of an impact special teams has had on Toronto's success this year, this is a very notable injury. Between losing Janarian Grant and with Chad teetering on the edge of an emotional cliff, the Ticats may have walked into the perfect storm for them to secure a sneaky win. Call me crazy, but I'm a roll with the Cats. I'm here for perfect alignment and a miracle. To wrap up the week, we have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers traveling to the nation's capital to take on the most disappointing team in the CFL right now. I personally would like to make a formal appeal to Osh, Zach Collaros, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to start Drew Brown this week, regardless of Collaros being game ready or not. You've got to do it for the plot. After Dinwiddie cut Brown loose from the Red Blacks, stating that he was a distraction and that his arm strength was an issue, Brown did what any slighted athlete would do in his situation and balled the out while snagging a win for the Bombers that no one is expecting except me. We could say things like this are distractions, but we all know that we absolutely froth storylines like this. At this point in the season, I actually believe more in Jake as a quarterback than I believe in the willingness this Ottawa team has to play for Ryan Dinwiddie and this organization. Regardless of the quarterback, the Bombers are going to walk away with a win, and the Red Blacks are going to dig themselves into a deeper hole. Bombers for the win. That's it for week 7, and when the last clock ticks to 0, the season will officially be a third of the way through. Let me know who you're rolling with this week, and maybe let's make an appeal to the CFL that I should be a part of their weekly picks crew. Also, keep your eyes peeled and your ears open this Tuesday, July 21st, for our next Builders episode, where we find out which Elks player would make the best video coordinator, and I give Chris Jones his flowers. As always, thank you for listening to Blitz and Bloom. Please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and share so other football fans like you can hear me ramble on about mostly nonsense.